Former 49ers wide receiver and Hall of Famer Terrell Owens is no stranger to turmoil in the media or with his franchise that he is playing for. So when he joined the Morning Roast, Bonte asked a very, very good question. And I appreciate the question that he asked, because with the situation in which Terrell Owens has been through, he was like, Terrell, put yourself in the shoes of Brandon Aiyuk and Deebo Samuel. How would you feel after it was made clear that your names were being shopped for a potential trade? And I like Terrell Owens' answer because it gives a perspective that we can obtain. We don't know what it's like to be a wide receiver for the San Francisco 49ers and get traded. Terrell Owens does. So take a listen to what he had to say on 95.7 The Game right here.
Deebo Samuel and Brandon Aiyuk. And John Lynch has come out saying, hey, we moved on in the offseason. Everybody's on board here. They draft Ricky Pearsall out of Florida in the first round. They draft another receiver out of Arizona, Jacob Cowing. If that was you, T.O., playing at the top of your game, because Aiyuk was 7th in the league in receiving yards, 2nd in the league in yards per catch. He caught 75 passes, and he didn't get the targets, as you mentioned. Would you be a little ticked off if your name was rumored to be traded or they was looking to move off of you because of money or financials or the salary cap situation? How would you have received that information there, knowing that your name has been rumored to be traded despite you balling out in this offense that averaged nearly 30 points a game?
Absolutely. I'll be pissed off. Look what happened to me in 03. They traded me without even consulting or giving me any kind of heads up. They tried to ship me to Baltimore, and everybody realizes and knows what I did in San Francisco for 8 years. They chose to kind of make Jeff Garcia the priority when I was the one. I was the one moving the chains when I was there in San Francisco. So those guys have obviously they have the right, the prerogative to feel the way that they feel. Given, again, why they're there, given the opportunities that they probably didn't have going into that Super Bowl. And if you looked at how it played out, yeah, could they have gotten a little bit more plays here and there? Could Deebo may have been utilized a bit more? I think he may have been banged up a little bit here and there. But again, when you think about Aiyuk and you think about how they lost that game, again, a few more opportunities here and there, then the outcome may have been a little bit different.
Talking to T.O. Terrell Owens right now on the Morning Roast, Spadoni alongside Bonte Hill. And T.O., when you look at this offense, this 49ers offense is just absolutely stacked. It's insane. All-pro at running back, all-pro tight end, all-pro at 2 different wide receivers, and obviously he's like an X-back, X whatever you want to call him, the X-factor we call him, Deebo Samuel. So a guy like Ricky Pearsall joining this offense that was just in the Super Bowl, that has been knocking on the door a couple times, and a guy like your son too, like, how do you fit in? Like, I cannot imagine the pressure of joining a stacked offense and trying to make a name for yourself while also trying to just do everything you're told. How difficult is it going to be for these rookies coming into this offense and coming into an offensive scheme like Kyle Shanahan's that demands a lot early on?
Honestly, I mean, before you get to that point, I mean, you talk about all the all-pros and the statistics and where these guys rank and stack personally with their accomplishments, but you don't win championship. You don't win games based on, those accolades. There is no such thing as paper champs. Yep. Yeah, you look at on paper, yeah, they look good. They should win. But like I said, there's no such thing as paper champs. But to the latter part of that, when you think about obviously these guys being drafted with the expectations, obviously you hope to have their trajectory of why and where they were drafted. You would hope that lends to the offense, especially when you think offensively, that's where they drafted. You would hope that that's going to bode well for the offense, that they can pick it up and they can come in and make an immediate impact. As far as my son is concerned, hey, if he can come in, learn the offense, and that's what I told him first. Learn everything first, and then your playmaking ability, that'll take care of itself. Sometimes it's not all about the most athletic. It's all about who knows and who knows the most and who's the most reliable. Yep. All of that will kind of play itself out. But again, these young guys can come in, and those veterans can show these guys the rope and bring them along. Then that's going to bode well, not only for the offensive side of the ball, not only for just the team as a whole, but the city, because now there's a lot of expectations, a lot of hopes that these guys can get back to the Super Bowl. Obviously, you got to win enough games, win a division, get into the playoffs. And then, like I said, it's anybody's game. You saw what the Detroit Lions have been doing the last few years. They've been knocking on the door. And again, like I said, they easily play here and there. They could have been playing in the Super Bowl. So sometimes it's all about how the ball bounces, but you got to have a little luck when you play this game. And like I say, I would rather be on the side of luck sometimes than being good.
First of all, it's really cool that Terrell Owens' son is on the San Francisco 49ers right now. Tariq Owens obviously has joined the 49ers via undrafted free agency. He's going to get a shot at rookie minicamp, and it'll be interesting to see if he can stick around through training camp as well. But in regards to the original topic, you know, T.O. said he'd be pissed. And I did think it was interesting, some of the insight that he gave about when he got traded. He said he didn't know about it. He was caught off guard by it. Like, you know, he just found out, like, oh, I got traded. And I do believe that is fundamentally where the situation is different with Brandon Aiyuk and Deebo Samuel. I think from everything that we have ever heard regarding John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan and kind of how they do business, they're very forthright and they are more than transparent in regards to these types of things. Now, I could imagine that all the communication isn't just going to be like, hey, we're going to trade you. We're going to try to trade you. Just FYI, maybe sometimes that happens without alerting the player. But based on the high-level nature of this, based on it kind of being leaked by Mike Silver and all those different types of things, I would imagine those conversations were had with both Deebo and Aiyuk. So I don't think it was a situation where either one of those guys were going to get blindsided by any of this. I think throughout this situation, I would imagine there was some level of communication about this potential situation and the potential outcome. Obviously, we know what happened. It didn't happen, and they have moved off it, or so we've been told. And so we're moving forward as the 49ers are going to go into this camp with Brandon Aiyuk, Deebo Samuel, Juwan Jennings, who still hasn't reportedly signed his tender, and, of course, the rookies, Ricky Pearsall, Jacob Cowing. You bring back Chris Connolly. Ronnie Bell will be back. So you have a pretty solid stable of wide receivers right now who are all going to be competing. But I did find T.O.'s explanation of how he feels, which, again, he said he'd be pissed. And, you know, they should be pissed. And I wouldn't be surprised if B.A. and Deebo feel a certain type of way. But I also do believe that both of those players understand that this is a business and that is part of the business, and they are aware. But my hope from this situation is both of these players take this situation from this offseason and just put it into their work, and they just keep grinding. You know, you can only control what you can control at the end of the day, and I think that's a mantra that a lot of these players live by, because you can't stress yourself out trying to think about and worry about all the things that could happen. All you can do is control what you can control the controllables, right? Put your effort into your work, how you attack the day, how you prepare, just control everything you can and let everything else play out. How it plays out will be exactly that. So I think moving forward, I think they're going to be all right. And again, I know of players that have been told they've been shocked, and hey, guess what? They're still here. And so, and they're thriving. So I think it's going to be all right. We've seen these situations play out in the past, and these two guys are professionals, and they will handle it just like that. Professionals. And I do think it's helpful that from, again, everything that I've learned, I haven't heard anything specifically about this situation, but I would imagine there was a pathway of communication to both Deebo Samuel and Brandon Aiyuk throughout the situation. And just like I imagine there was a pathway of communication when Deebo Samuel went through this the first time and almost got traded. So I think moving forward, everything's going to be all right. They're going to get this figured out. Brandon Aiyuk's going to get his contract, and we're going to go try to chase another ring next year. But you guys let me know what you thought about what T.O. had to say in the comments below. And as always, make sure to like and subscribe for more updates.